Hello, everyone. This
Hello.
is
G'day, mates.
this is Joe Firestone for Empowering Democracy and also Dump the Corruption. And I'm here with the co-hosts of Around the World with Brandy and Dee. That is to say, I'm here with Brandy Weaver and with Dee Pierce. And I'm also here with the activist extraordinaire Gregory Mallard of Revolution Evolution on Facebook. And Gregory will be starting up his own stream known by that name this Friday night, right?
No, next Friday.
Next Friday, the 13th, right?
Oh, yeah.
Friday the 13th. Okay, I got that a little mixed up. Okay, tonight I'm going to start with some remarks about what's going on. I won't spend too much time on this, but everybody's talking about the idea of force the vote and how the Republicans are forcing the vote and how it shows up the squad, because why couldn't the squad force the vote?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are giving variations on this, and of course it's valid to say that. But I'd like to recall, as suggested by Lana Adele, that going back to 2021, there was a force the vote movement. But the people sponsoring the force the vote movement were a lot of the same people now talking about the force the vote effort on the Republican side, wanted to force the vote on Nancy Pelosi, not to get rid of Nancy Pelosi, but to make a deal with her to get a floor vote, for Medicare for all, which was a deal that they couldn't possibly enforce if they had made that particular deal with her. It was not a well-advised thing to ask. I tried to start a movement at the same time. My version of force the vote was to force the vote to get rid of Nancy Pelosi, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Then they would have been in a position, to deal with any one of a number of people who were trying to emerge as the new leader, of the Democrats. Since the new leader would not have had the same power, as Nancy Pelosi, and since they would have had a hand in selecting the new leader themselves, they might have been successful in getting a new speaker that was much more friendly to them, much more willing to negotiate, and not only just for a floor vote, on Medicare for all, which was far too little to ask for, but for committee positions, for rule changes, for a variety of other things that would have made the House a much more democratic place. But the people who were pushing for force to vote at that time did not have the wit to push for that. They got hung up on just pushing for Medicare for all, alone. And from my point of view, they were really silly in pushing the idea that it would be safe to make a deal with Nancy Pelosi by basically coercing her into a deal. I think it was very bad strategy. I said so at the time. There were 20 or 30 of us who were saying so, but we couldn't make our voices heard because we were drowned out by those who had hundreds of thousands, of Twitter followers. They wouldn't listen to any other view except for their own. There's also a chance that if they decided to advocate for forcing the vote for all those various things, that maybe the squad would not have caved at that point. Because if you're going to put your whole careers on the line, why would you do it for just a single floor vote? It's stupid. It was stupid then, it's stupid now. Look at what the Republicans are doing instead. Of the 20 Republicans, the Freedom Caucus, they are extracting all kinds of concessions from Kevin McCarthy. So they have a lot more sense now than the Force the Vote movement had at that time. I'm sorry to have to say that, but I have to say that. The Force the Vote effort at that time in 2021 wasn't asking for enough to make it worthwhile to risk your career over it. But this group of 20 is doing just that. They're asking for everything but the kitchen sink.
They even nominated.
I'm sorry?
They even nominated Jim Jordan.
They even nominated Jim Jordan, and then they nominated a guy by the name of Reynolds as well in one of the other votes. And who knows who they're going to come up with tomorrow. But
yeah, who really knows what else they're going to pull out of their hats? Like what?
It seems to me that they're also not being very smart. We'll see how this plays out. But if I were them, I would just keep on going, with Kevin McCarthy. Keep on going long enough for Kevin McCarthy to start losing support when it becomes obvious that he's never going to get the 20 votes. Maybe in 2 or 3 days, that's going to become obvious. And then other people on the Republican side are going to have to step forward. And they will be in a position, the Freedom Caucus will be, to get the same concessions from the new person who steps up. But they'll have a hand in selecting that person. So he may be much less likely to try to revenge himself on them. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I thought it was worthwhile to spend a few minutes on it, just to talk over the politics of it, and ask the question of how sagacious were the Force the Vote people who hastily put a movement together in the fall of 2020. Were they really so wise? They're taking credit now for, oh, look, the Republicans are forcing the vote. So we were right back then. We should have been forcing the vote. But they
Oh,
were not right about what they wanted to force the vote for. They were wrong about that. They were asking for too little. And their discussions about it since then are such that it shows they never understood that they were asking for too little. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. Now, I'm going to go over to dump the corruption now. Oh,
A
by the
whole
way,
bunch of it that needs to be dumped.
yeah,
yeah. And
okay.
that I
I
do
should say
want to.
one more thing. The vacate the chair motion. This group, okay, the Republicans are trying to reinstall a rule in the House that anybody can make a vacate the chair motion. Uh, this was something that I called for following the selection of Nancy Pelosi in the spring of 2021, but no one picked up on that call. Now, it would have been harder then, because when Nancy Pelosi came in, she changed the rule to what it is now, saying that such a motion cannot be introduced, okay, except by a party conference or a party caucus. Okay, the difference is that the Republicans have party caucuses, have party conferences, and the Democrats have party caucuses. Party caucuses and party conferences are the same thing, but the name is different. Okay, how many party caucuses do they have, okay, in the Democratic Party? Well, they have a party caucus that includes all the Democrats. Okay, I know that. The only party caucus that exists on the left side, which is an official party caucus, is the Congressional Progressive Caucus. How do I know that's an official party caucus? Because it gets money from the House to carry on its activities. So it's an official party caucus for sure. Why was it so hard to get anybody to talk about a vacate the chair motion on Nancy Pelosi? Because the only party caucus that would have done so would have been the CPC. And who is the head of the CPC? Of course, Pramila Jayapal. And she wasn't going to do it. On the other hand, if she'd wanted to, she could have pressured Pelosi. All along, she could have said to her, if you don't do this, I'm going to do a vacate the chair motion on you. And this time you're going to lose because we have the votes to block you. So Jayapal could have forced Pelosi to bring various bills to the floor and to keep her agreements on such bills as the infrastructure bill, which is supposed to be far larger than what they produced, and which was supposed to produce a very large amount of money for climate things. But that all got thrown out when Jayapal backed off and when the squad followed, okay, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's enough on that stuff now. So, in relation to dump the corruption, I wanted to handle the record of three folks tonight. Ilhan Omar, AOC, and Rashida Tlaib. I also had a little DTC news that I also wanted to cover. But let's go to Ilhan's fundraising record. Okay, this is data for 2022. Let's start with the summary. I find some of this data just amazing. I hadn't gone over the exact data for her. Our top contributor was a Council for a Livable World, $13,704. The health professionals were her top industry, and as we'll see, that was mostly individual contributions. She got 182,286 out of that. But summary, she raised $3,022,203. And she spent just a little more, 3,037,835. So she spent a little more. She ended up with cash on hand, 152,137. That is not much of a war chest for 2034. On the other hand, 3 million is a pretty good amount to raise. And the Republicans opposing her had a fair amount of money. Notice she took very little PAC money. There is a Medicare for All PAC, and there's MoveOn.org PAC. And I think that's just about the only PAC money she took. I'll be checking to see, okay, in just a moment. Here it is, who else she got money from. The health professionals, there was no PAC money there. It was just from individual health professionals. It could have been mostly from doctors who wanted to see Medicare for All passed. Okay, retired people were a big source of money for her also, 145,632. There were Democratic and liberal groups, and she got PAC money from them, 26,000. And money from individuals, 48,059. She got some money from individuals in real estate and from a real estate PAC, but only 4,000 that she took. So she took a little PAC money along the way, as we see, but not really much. The money she took from the education sector, $64,000. And that was from individuals. You can see that the average amount of money that was raised by congresspeople in 2000.
Robert Copland just asked if you could share the screen.
Oh, thank you. I certainly can share the screen. Thank you for reminding me. I am remiss in not doing that. Share the screen. There we go. Here we go. Okay, Robert, I hope you can see that well enough. She raised just about what the average congressperson raised this time. Okay, it was no more. She raised a lot more in 2020, where you can see the average is down here about 2.64 million. And she was up there at 5.72 million if we include both the campaign committee and what is the expression here? Oh, look what I did. I made a mistake. I was dealing with only the campaign committee only, and I meant to include the leadership pack. So let's look again at this. Top industries, top contributors, still the same. It means a difference in the amount she raised, $3.4 million. She spent $3.3 million. Means her cash on hand right now is better, $291,123. But as we'll see, it's not a lot of cash on hand. Going into 2024, she has to raise a lot more money. The PAC situation, though, is still the same. And you can see the areas where she's getting money from: FAM Vans, Falcon Engineering Services, American Federation of State, City, and Municipal Employees, and the American Federation of Teachers. Fairly innocuous groups, but the last two, she got no money from individuals, but $10,000 each from their PACs. Okay, so I'm down again to the health professionals, the top industries, the retired people. From Democratic liberal groups, she got 48,000 from individuals, 26,000 from the PACs. From real estate, 4,000 in PACs.
Now, Joe, I have a question. From the
Sure.
PACs, can we see where that money came from? That came through the PACs.
Yeah, we can see where that money came from. Let me see here. I got to change the view, but there are PACs, so let's see what it says. We have to look at each of the individual PACs. Well, these are the sectors. Let's see if I can get down to the individuals. Now it's giving only sector data here. It's not a lot of PAC money altogether. 93,000 from ideological PACs, which is Democratic and liberal groups. 65,000 from labor, 64,500, and from business, $19,500. So she was not getting a lot of PAC money from here. I think that's as good as I can get on the PACs.
Yeah. To me, that just does not show enough
Yeah, let's
of
go.
where that money's coming from on
Let's
the
go to
PAC.
the contributors, see what we can learn. Inspiring Leadership has a name PAC.
That's almost $1 million.
Okay, that's a leadership PAC. Okay, leadership PACs, I think, must come. Well, she probably started a leadership PAC herself and has taken contributions from that PAC. There was 993,205. That came from that particular PAC. Top 20 contributors to the campaign committee. Well, that shows pretty much the data. Okay, the data we saw before. little more information here. National Education Association PAC gave her 10,000. The American Crystal Sugar PAC gave her 10,000.
I'll have to look some of these up.
The National Iranian American Council gave her 5,000. Okay. Altogether, she raised what was that final total? 3.8 million that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
So
Almost not quite a third.
yeah, not quite a third. She was getting an awful lot of money from individuals, both from around the country and in her district. Okay, but of course, according to the rule, she would not qualify because she had considerable PAC money.
Yep. I mean, 993,000 is a lot of PAC money.
It's
And
a
I
lot of
know
PAC
that,
money, and it's a lot of PAC money for a congressional race.
and I know a lot of people in her district were not happy with her some of her stances.
I'm sure they weren't.
With a lot of her community is other refugees.
Yeah, it was clear by the end of her campaign that she was having trouble. It
Mm-hmm.
was a relatively tight race. And as we look at the other two candidates, we will see that, okay, at least with AOC,
One more question for you.
please.
Does it show if she's donated any money?
Herself?
Yeah, or from the money she raised, if she's donated it to any of that to other groups. So what it would
We
probably
would,
be under expenditures.
okay. Let's take a look.
Because that's another thing you got to look at, because I know some of them that have said that they would not donate money to corporate Dems have.
Yeah, that is very important. She spent 697,000 in salaries.
Yeah.
On media, 601,000. On administrative, 531,000. On contributions to others, $402,160. So
Yeah.
she might well have paid her dues there to the Democrats. Top vendors / recipients.
Democratic Party of Minnesota.
$324,812.
Yeah.
It's
So
a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah. And this is something that came up during Lisa's interview with the
Yes,
guy
with
from
Omar
California.
Shergill.
Yep.
Okay, Omar Shergill.
Oh, you went too fast.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go that fast.
So I was
Let's
trying to see who all.
Okay, let's go from the top and I'll go slow, real slow.
Okay.
Okay, Gusto Incorporated, $198,473. Genco Strategies, $169,000. Genco Strategies sounds like a consultant group. Evans and Katz, they might be lawyers. Baseline Agency, sounds to me like it might be another consultant group. Kirshner, Breen,
Isaiah.
I
Isaiah.
just found the link for Genco Strategies and I just posted it in our private chat within StreamYard.
Okay, what do they do?
Consulting firm.
It's a it is a 21st century consulting firm for 21st century campaigns.
Oh, I see. Okay, and Barnett Strategies. That's probably another consulting group, right?
Yeah.
And she paid 85,000 to Act Blue.
Yep, which could go to whoever.
Yes.
And so to me, that would be the possibility of donating money to corporate Democrats.
Yeah, she donated money. If these are donations to people, they could
Yeah.
also be consulting payments. But to Gura Ardo, to Bergen Clare, like 49,000, 40,000. Okay. To Brianna Lee, 35,000. Okay. To Ali Issa, 34,000. To Relative Intel, 30,000. To the CPC Caucus PAC, 10,000. To the Congressional Black Caucus, 7,500. To
Yeah.
Travel, 7,485.
And some of that to the Congressional Black Caucus could go to corporate Democrats.
Of course. And some of the stuff to Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC could also go to corporate Democrats.
Marie Newman.
5,000, Kate to Marie Newman for her campaign. Nina Turner for us. Andre Carson for Congress, Democratic Party of Arizona. She made
God. What the hell is she doing taking money from the DPG here in Georgia?
She donated
No,
that.
she donated 5,000 to the DPG in Georgia. And
Holy
she donated 5,000 to the DP of Nevada. 5,000 to Summer Lee. Take Action Minnesota, 5,000. Intercontinental London Park Lane Hotel. Probably for hotel expenses, I suppose. Corey Bush, 3,000. Friends of Dan Kildee, Dan Kildee. He's a Michigan congressperson. Yeah, that was very interesting to look at that. Okay, but I think overall we see that to some degree she was playing the game, both in receiving contributions
And donating.
in making expenditures herself.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's another thing that they had, a lot of them had promised that they would not contribute to the corporate Democrats. So
yes, but
that's
they clearly
another.
did here.
Yeah.
Well, she clearly did anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to AOC. If that's okay with everybody.
Yeah. Because I've heard the same about AOC.
Oh, I think that's going to be even more revealing, but let's see. I think that's going to be very revealing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get that in there. Present, share screen.
It's crazy at
God
how
bless
much
you,
money
honey.
these campaigns are taking.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, 2022. Let's make sure we're seeing both the campaign committee and leadership pack. And let's get the summary and see what overall it looked like.
Mhm.
So her biggest industry was retired people. We find that with a lot of the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest industry contributor, I shouldn't say industry contributor, I think we're really talking here about corporate contributors.
I'm going to look them up.
And see, there was $30,535, okay, from Alphabet. Who was Alphabet? Alphabet is the parent company of Google.
Ah,
Okay, but you see, the total money she raised, hold on to your hats, hold on to your seats, 13,339,686.
she still has over 5 million cash on hand.
Well, it's nearly 6 million. It's
Yeah.
5.961 million.
Yep.
So she spent about $11,428,027. That's a lot of money. From her top contributors, supposedly zero PAC money here. Supposedly, our top contributors all came from individuals that were
Yeah, I don't.
to these corps. So let's see. Yeah, I'm skeptical of that also.
Yeah, Alphabet Corp, Microsoft, Apple. It's corporate PACs. It may not be PAC money, but it's corporate money.
It might be okay. It all depends. In other
Yeah.
words, uh, if there's corporations involved, it's probably corporate money.
Yep.
Okay, if there are places like the city of New York, then it may be individuals. If
Yeah.
it's University of California, okay,
It
it may
might
be
be.
individuals. Yeah, because there's probably no compulsion from those organizations
Yeah.
to do something, for AOC.
But Alphabet Inc., Microsoft Corp., and Apple Inc.
Yes,
shows that's probably corporation donations,
probably
corporate
corporation
donations.
donations, right? It's very interesting to look at the industries. 624,532 from the retired,
Hmm.
327,000 from the education sector. Health professionals, 153,000 is probably from doctors. Electronics manufacturing and equipment, $130,000. Civil servants and public officials, $107,000. Let's just take a look at the average. This graphic, okay, is a useful one. Am I sharing this out, by the way, or have
Yeah,
I gotten
you're
it yet?
sharing it.
Okay, excellent. So, in our first campaign, she raised less than the average a congressional person. Okay, I think you can see she total raised was $2 million in that first campaign. In our 2020 campaign, she raised $3.05 million. Okay, the average for Congress people had gone up though. In the third campaign, the one we just saw, it says she raised $12 million. So you ask, why is the blue bar there lower than the blue bar in the other one? Because these bars are calculated relative to the average figure for Congress people. She raised, for a second context, $20.66 million.
Wowzers. That's a lot of damn money.
Wowzers. And for
Yeah.
this last campaign, $12.058 million.
So her donations did go down.
Yes, they did go down, but
They're
they're
not as
still,
low as 2018, but they did go down.
they did go down, but they were still astronomical.
Yeah, that's still.
Okay, in terms of the average, and that's
Yeah.
why she still has a war chest of nearly $6 million to go to 2024 with. She evidently has a very efficient fundraising deal. Okay, by the way, we saw in Katie Porter last time also that she had an enormous number of contributions that she raised. She is equally efficient as a fundraising machine as AOC is. Okay, but let's move over to some of the industries and see if we can see more there. That was not apparent from the summary. Securities and investment, which is a big New York thing.
Mm-hmm.
She had 48,000 from that. It was all in individual contributions. It wasn't a major source for her. For real estate, she had 44,219. Again, no PAC money there, according to this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And printing and publishing, 43,717. Hospitals, nursing homes, 33,000. Construction services, 31,000. What's interesting about this is she has so many industries contributing to her. Pharmaceuticals, health products, 28,000, but supposedly no PAC money.
Yeah.
We have 25,000 from food and beverage, nonprofits nearly 25,000, and miscellaneous services roughly 24,000. Okay, that's interesting. If we look at the sectors and the distribution in the sectors,
lawyers and lobbyists,
communications and electronics, 343,000.
She took.
I'll bet a lot of that
defense.
is from internet companies.
Yeah, because we saw Apple, Google, and what's the other one?
We didn't see Facebook specifically named. But Facebook now is Meta. We didn't see either Meta or Facebook named. Finance, insurance, and real estate, the fire sector, 157,000. There's no PAC money involved here. It's just straight campaign money. From the health sector, 245,000 in round numbers. Lawyers and lobbyists, almost $75,000. And miscellaneous business, we don't know what that is, but it's a big number, 203,293.
Yeah. And
She
then here's some PAC money coming in.
from labor, 44,500. Ideological
Single issue.
single issues was a fair amount also. Okay, I'm interested in just looking at the PAC category again and see if that gives any different kind of information.
Yeah.
$44,946 total PAC money. Number of contributions 20. It's interesting that that's far less money.
Then Ilhan.
Ilhan, far less money than Ilhan, and a far lower percentage than the total money she raised. In relation to the total money she raised, that PAC money is really peanuts.
Yeah,
Contribute.
that's small potatoes compared to others.
But the another thing to think of, though, even though it wasn't PAC money, she still took a lot of money from corporate. A lot of corporate money.
I don't know if it was that much, Kay, in the way of corporate money, but she took some corporate money, certainly. The contributors category reveals more. From her leadership PAC,
Mm-hmm.
Courage to Change, she raised $855,401. Now, that is comparable to Ilhan's figure.
Yeah.
Her figure was 900,000 some odd. So she had a leadership PAC too. And number of contributions from individuals of $200 and more that came into the leadership PAC. 1,830 individuals gave more than $200.
Yeah, we'll look at that here in a minute, Robert, on how she spent her money.
So that means wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
Here we see contributors. Okay, Alphabet, 31,000. University of California, 19,000. City of New York.
Microsoft was the other one. It was Alphabet, which is Google, Microsoft, and all that. Apple.
Comparatively small contributions from both of those, 12,213 from individuals and 12,042 from Apple. Okay, here's an Amazon contribution, 10,492. And the Machinists Aerospace Workers Union, $10,000. Of that was PAC money, $15 from individuals. Interesting that the University of California gave more to her than the City University of New York, where she's based.
Oh, she took money from Amazon.
If she took money from Amazon, yes, 10,400.
There's Meta down there.
Oh yeah, 9,097. So that's where we found it. She took money from Disney.
Yeah.
$8,204. American Federation of Teachers, 7,555. That was PAC money. Communication Workers of America.
Is PAC
That
money.
was Larry Cohn's union, $7,500 in PAC money.
Intel Corp.
7,116 from the individuals. From the state of California, nearly $7,000. San Diego State University. What's interesting in her list here is the diversity of contributions from so many places. That was somewhat different from Ilmar's pattern.
Yeah.
Let's look at expenditures now. Yes, we are going to get to expenditures. I expect that this is going to be as long as your arm
Oh,
or anybody's
probably
arm.
so.
Yeah, salaries, media, 2.7 million in salaries, 1.9 million in media. She spent 1.8 billion on fundraising.
Yeah, and as somebody asked, how did AOC spend her money? Then the Ghost Art said on a stemly worded
A
dress.
sternly worded dress.
I thought it was stemly, but oh
Yeah,
well.
that's why I giggled
Yeah.
earlier was I read Ghost Art.
Okay,
That
so
was hilarious, though.
okay, she gave money to a place called Financial Innovations Incorporated, $1.834 million.
She gave money back to Facebook.
$1.8 million.
Middle seat. I've heard of middle. I've heard a lot about middle seat.
Yes, I've heard about Middle Seat too. I can't remember exactly who they are, but what's really sticks out for me here is the 1.8 million to Financial Innovations, because I believe that is a consulting company that works mainly for these lefty candidates.
Yeah, but they've donated some money to some other people
Oh yeah, we're going to see that in just a minute as we go down the list.
with middle seat. So anything that they sent to middle seat could have also gone to some
The
corporate
candidate.
Democrats.
Yeah. And of course, Act Blue Technical Services,
Mhm.
$243,964. The NGP van.
I know what that is because I've worked in political campaigns. That's giving you that's how you access registered voters information in your district. So like when you get mail, like postcards, flyers, things like that from candidates, that's where they access that money. That's the same thing we use here in Arkansas for campaigns.
Okay, she gave money to Act Blue, $142,001. The Sandler Reef, that's a legal company or a consulting company. They were on Ilhan's list too.
Mm-hmm.
She gave him $130,238. Then there's a list of individuals, probably individual consultants who work for the campaign. 116,578 to Randy Abreu, 116,000 to Nicholas Hara, 111,000 to Rebecca Rodriguez, 107,000 to Catherine Dale, 100,000 to Jeremy Parkin, 89.5 thousand to Yvette Contreras, 89,518 to Charles Schwab and Company. Campaign money to Charles Schwab.
Yeah.
I wonder specifically what that's for. Okay, Fiorella Binney got 83,300. 82,299 went to Google. I presume for services. And Kohar Minassian, $79,953.
Okay, yeah. I found something on middle seat. They did a Biden victory fund.
Oh,
So they're not solely progressive. So some of that money could have very well, and that's what I've heard, is that some of that money went to
to Biden.
Biden.
Yeah, payoff. And
So
then
yeah,
there are Friends of India Walton, $7,500.
India Walton got done very, very.
Dirty.
She got dirty. Yeah, she should.
Okay, then
She
there
won
was
her
Sammy.
primary.
Yes, Greg.
Yeah, India Walton. She won her primary, but yet,
For mayor of Buffalo.
Yeah,
but
she really got screwed. Yeah, she really got screwed by the machine.
Yep. By the Democratic Party.
All right, and I think the city of Buffalo is probably paying for it just now because I don't think the mayor who got elected did a very good job during the crisis.
Nope.
I'm
I
sure that India Walton would have done a lot better.
Yeah, I've got family up there, so
Yeah, I've got family up there too. So Sammy for New York, uh, she was a candidate for Congress, and she was running in primaries, and she got beat. Uh, she was very progressive. Okay, AOC gave her some money. Charisse for Congress, that's Charisse Davids, who was running in Kansas. Okay, I believe that was the district that Brent Welder tried to get elected in. Okay, and Sharice Davids was selected by the party, boosted by the party, because uh, um, um, she was an indigenous candidate, and so she got elected in 2018, okay, I believe, and reelected in 2020, and she was given 5,000, okay, by AOC, and then there was Abigail Spanberger, the devil herself. Very, very centrist Democrat, very, very opposed to AOC, managed to get 5,000 out of AOC. Spanberger was reelected in 2022, but had a very tough race.
where at?
She's in, I believe her district is the Virginia 7th, if I recall correctly. That's where Abigail Spanberger is from. I think she's former CIA, if I recall correctly. I think both Alyssa Slotkin and Spanberger were former CIA.
I'm looking her up now.
So 5,000 went to Summer Lee for Congress. Uh, she, of course, is a progressive. Susan Wild got 5,000. I don't think she's particularly progressive, but on the other hand,
Yep, Spamberger is former CIA, and that, and I've heard that back in all these elections where they were former CIA officers were running for office.
yeah, I know it's frequent, okay, that they do.
For one reason only: keep that CIA budget going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider them former.
Okay. There was also a woman. I forget her first name. Okay, her last name. Okay, is Luria. She was on the January 6th committee. She lost her election, but she was an intelligence officer for the Navy. She actually did a pretty good job on the January 6th committee, but she's another intelligence officer. Okay, and Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan, who's been elected now 3 times. She's also former CIA. She did not get a contribution from AOC so far. Anyway, we're going down the list. Susie Lee for Congress, she got 5,000. The New York Working Families Party state account got 5,000. Mondare for Congress got 5,000. He, of course, got beat in the New York primary because he had to shift his district because Sean Patrick Maloney
Mm-hmm.
bigfooted him in that district. I personally think Mondare should have stayed there and fought it out with Sean Patrick Maloney. I think he probably would have beaten him. But anyway, 5,000, okay, to Nevadans for Stephen the Horsford. Stephen Horsford was a Nevada guy who beat Amy Villela when she was running for Congress. Then there's Mike Levin, got 5,000. Mike Levin is from California. And Mikey Sherrill, I don't know how she pronounces her name, whether it's Mikey or Mickey, but she's former military officer too, and she's from New Jersey. And then Vicente Gonzalez for Congress. Is he not from Texas? Does anybody know?
Who is it?
Vicente Gonzalez.
Let me look.
He got 5,000.
34th Congressional District of Texas.
Yeah. And Friends of Johanna Hayes. I think she's Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. She got $5,000.
Yeah, Johanna Hayes is Connecticut.
Okay. She's fairly to the left, but not really someone to be counted on. But who knows who could be counted on? She was $5,000. Friends of Lucy McBath, $5,000. She gave $5,000 to Peter DeFazio.
Yeah, Lucy McBath is another Georgia congresswoman as well.
Right, and she is quite a bit to the left, isn't she, Greg?
Centrist.
I'm sorry?
Centrist.
Okay.
She
Okay.
doesn't support Medicare for all.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a no.
Peter DeFazio got $5,000. He, of course, is from Oregon, and he retired. So she wasted the $5,000 on him. Then there was Kim Schreier for Congress. She's from Washington, but not very lefty, from the state of Washington, of course. And then there's Elaine for Congress. Okay, Elaine is Elaine Luria. She was the one who came from Navy intelligence. And she gave $5,000 to Alyssa Slotkin, who was kind of a centrist. So she gave $5,000 to her. But generally speaking, she's not someone who's particularly friendly to AOC. Also, Spanberger, of course, was kind of a bête noire, okay, of AOC. They would have public fights from time to time. Okay, Elizabeth Menino Fletcher for Congress. I don't remember where she's from. Haley Stevens for Congress. Haley Stevens is the one who got matched up to Andy Levin in Michigan. Okay, and Andy Levin got beat by APAC contributions and I believe DMFI contributions. They were really out to get Andy Levin, who was a religious Jew who headed his temple for some years. And because he was favorable to Palestinian rights, they ran the anti-Semite thing, okay, on Andy Levin, who, by the way, was the son of Sander Levin, who was in the House for years and years and years and years, and who was a nephew of Carl Levin, who was a Michigan senator for a very, very long time, and was, okay, in the Senate. He was probably among the 5 top Democrats who were lefty in the Senate over the years. Very strong union supporter. Sander Levin was also. Uh, that family was a really good family to have around. Okay, Andy Levin got beat by AIPAC and related PACs. She gave $5,000 to Jessica Cisneros, $5,000 to Josh Harder, Karen Carter Peterson for Congress, $5,000. Katie Porter for Congress, $5,000. Ron Kind for Congress, I think that's his first name, $5,000. Also, Lauren Underwood, $5,000. Colin Allred for Congress, $5,000. Jared Golden of Maine, $5,000. Jared Golden is very centrist, can't be counted upon for a thing from the progressive point of view. Then
Connor Lamb.
Connor Lamb, of course, who tried to step up to the Senate and was beaten in the primary by John Fetterman, thank God. Then Chris Pappas for Congress. Connor Lamb was really a bad guy. It was really great that he got beat.
Yeah.
Then there was Cindy Axne for Congress. I'm not sure whether she made it this time. She was going for re-election. I think she got beat in Iowa. Then there's Cori Bush, got only $5,000. So AOC was spreading a lot of her money around, $5,000 at a time, to maybe 20 people or 25 people. When, of course, in an ideal situation, she would have been consolidating that money and maybe supporting 3 or 4 progressives.
Yeah.
For example, if you're progressive yourself and supposedly on the very left wing of the party, you don't give money to Abigail Spanberger,
Connor Lamb.
right, and to Alyssa Slotkin, okay, and Elaine Luria. Instead, you give about 25,000 or maybe 50,000 to Jessica Cisneros, so you can get that damned SOB from the 1st District of Texas out.
Yep. See, this is why so many people are so frustrated with them.
Oh, yeah, because they're giving. I didn't want $1 of my money to go to Henry Cuellar.
Yeah.
Never, never, never. Okay, well, she at least didn't contribute to Henry Cuellar, but she only gave Jessica Cisneros $5,000 to beat him. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
How much she? Rule number 1: do not donate any money to any campaign because you never know where your money's really going to go.
Well,
Make them earn it.
we need pledges from these congressional candidates that money that goes to their campaign committee from people stays in their campaign and is not spent to help a whole bunch of candidates favored by the DCCC.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. This is tribute to the DCCC.
Yep.
Yeah. Talking about back to Lucy McBath. She is not a progressive. She supports the ACA over Medicare for all. And
Yeah.
she represents a congressional district up there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But she is good on gun. She's good on the platform where it comes to gun violence because she's a mother who lost a son to gun violence. So that's where I can agree with her on is with the gun violence issue. But on healthcare and other sorts of policy, no. But on gun violence, yes.
Seeing the one from our state isn't any better. She was no good on Medicare for all.
How does she stand on the Green New Deal?
Which one, Lucy Macbeth?
Yeah, Lucy Macbeth.
Doesn't support it at all.
So basically, Lucy Macbeth is just a Biden Democrat.
Yeah.
Pretty much so. She never even supported the Green New Deal, even when she was running for Congress the first time.
Okay, let's go on to Rashida. Okay, I think we've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez pegged pretty much, right?
Yeah, she's a no.
Oh, and another thing, talking back to last night, she's also taken a lot of money. Lucy Macbeth has also taken a lot of money from pro-Israeli groups as well. Yet she's claiming to talk about wanting to remove corporate money in politics, yet she takes a whole shit ton of it herself. Fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Total fucking hypocrite.
That's the majority of most of them.
Yeah, that's honestly why we're going through this, because we are going through people who are in the Congressional Progressive Caucus who say they're progressive, and we want to see if there's even one of them who would survive the litmus test. I mean, so far, there's not one who survives it.
Yeah.
So.
Which doesn't really surprise me.
Be right back.
Yeah, it does not surprise me at all. So this is the last one, specifically Rashida.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go soon. I'll try to stay for as long of this one as I can.
Okay, well, this one I think
I want to see hers.
Okay, I think this one is going to be the last one that we have time for tonight. And I only planned 3 for tonight anyway. I knew from last night I couldn't get in 4. Okay, so the summary data for the committee and leadership pack combined. Our retired people are top industry, $189,614. The RDS Real Estate Group was our top contributor, $16,600. Money raised altogether $3.6 million for her campaign. She spent $3.7 million roughly. Her cash on hand is $327,845. So her pattern, overall pattern, is very similar to Ilhan's. She's not in a strong position in terms of cash on hand, which is interesting. She does have 0 debts, though. They all had 0 debts. So the second top contributor was Apple.
Mm-hmm.
$15,800 from individuals at Apple. The Arab Community Center for Economic Social Service, she got 15,000 from individuals there. And the Cardiac Institute, 13,700. FAM Vans, 13,500. So we see the top industries. By the way, there's mostly individual contributions here. There's the retired industry, 189,000. Health professionals, 183,000. Education, 104,000. Real estate, 101,000. 98,000 going to individuals, 3,000 PAC money. Only a small amount from PAC money. She raised a lot of money from lawyers and law firms, 74,000 roughly, but it was all in individual contributions. No PAC money there. Last time around in 2020, she raised $4 million, which is notable. The average for Congress people in that race was 3.05 million. In this latest race, she raised 3.22 million, but that was below the average for Congress people in general, who raised 3.48 million. So her fundraising fell off substantially since last time. I guess that's important to point out. So that's the summary. I'm going to jump to the PACs because I want to see how much she raised from the leadership PAC. $117,724. So that's considerably different from Ilhan and from AOC. And it's not much total PAC money at all compared to the total of what she raised. 40,000 of the money came from labor, only 8,000 from the fire sector. 5,000 was unknown. There was no category for it. Ideological single issue category, 63,724. That money probably comes from the Arab community, I'm guessing. In other words, the Palestinian rights issue probably gained some money for her. Okay, let's see how her expenditures went. Spent 1.2 million roughly on media, 752,893 on salaries, 322,000 on campaign expenses, 321,000 on fundraising, 285,000 unclassifiable. I wonder what that was. 283,000 on all other. Top vendors, recipients, the new media firm, the consulting firm she prefers to use, I guess, 768,469. Summit Campaign Strategies, 289,500. Payroll Data Processing, 216,267. Okay. Deliver Strategies, 201,290. Unbought Power, 180,000. Avima Design, 149,000. North Arrow Consulting, 146,000. ActBlue, 89,775. $74,000 to Middle Seat Consulting,
Mm-hmm.
the aggregator for Joe Biden.
Yep.
Thompson Hightower. Okay, Lamar Thompson Hightower, 73,015. And Hart Research Associates. I wonder if there's any connection to the former Michigan.
Cardiac Foundation.
No,
No,
that's
sorry.
Hart. It's HART.
Yeah, I
I was,
wasn't looking at it. Sorry, I was getting
yeah,
others.
I was wondering if it had any connection. Okay, to the senator from Michigan some time ago, whose name was Philip Hart.
Okay.
Uh, he was quite famous, very good senator, and one of the buildings in Washington is named after him. He was really a good senator, though. Bixkadong, 54,307. Toro Roman, Carolina. I should say it the other way. Carolina Toro Roman, 50,625. Tosca Incorporated. Oscar Arbulu. Oh, here is NGP Van again. That must be, as you say, a data source. That's just about $48,000. MBA Consulting Group, about $46,000. Action Network, $44,000. So, okay. Denzel McCampbell, $42,000. Base Builder, sounds like software, $36,000. Pentecostal Temple Church of God in Christ, $8,179.
$8,179.
Not a lot of money.
But why is she giving money to a church?
Because that church is probably very important in her district.
Central Detroit Christian.
Yeah, CDC. You know, she has her district is John Conyers' old district. So the population is predominantly black in that district. Okay, and of course, the blacks in the district go to the Christian churches. That's probably the connection. Mayor Inc., I don't know what that is. Interior, Marie Newman for Congress. Here comes the contributions to other congressmen. Okay, Marie Newman, 5,000. Friends of Dan Kildee, one of her congressional colleagues from Michigan, $5,000. Okay, by the way, Dan Kildee is one of the favorite congressmen of Michael Moore. Longtime personal friend of Michael Moore. Okay, Genesis Women's Shelter and Support, 5,000. She gave 5,000 to Ilhan for Congress. Gave 5,000 to Presley. Gave 5,000 to the Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC. 5,000 to Portia Robertson for Congress. I don't know where she ran, but I'm sure that Portia Robertson did not win. Sherry Gay Dagnogo for Congress, 5,000. Oh, she gave money to Nita Lam in North Carolina, 5,000. Yeah, Nita Lam was tanked by AIPAC. That's why she lost. She was very popular in North Carolina, and without that AIPAC money, which got up into the millions of dollars, she would have won, Nita Lam. And there was Nina Turner for U.S., gave $5,000. Gave $4,500 to Summer Lee. She was probably running out of money at the time.
what I don't understand is why do these candidates or these incumbents, why do they give money to other campaigns?
It's sort of expected that candidates pay dues for the Democratic Party in some way, that they support other Democrats. Okay, now I will say that
And giving money to caucuses, it could go to anybody in that caucus. And we know for a fact that the Progressive Caucus is not full of progressives when what's her face that beat Nina Turner is in
Chantel
that
Brown,
caucus. Yes.
Chantel Brown is in there, but also Catherine Clark, who just became the whip of the Democrats,
Uh,
she's in there, and Hakeem Jeffries is in there. So
yeah. So they're giving money potentially,
To
and
anybody.
especially with that one that was raising money for Biden's middle seat.
yes, yes,
I
yes,
will not support anyone that gives money to any of those.
yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna post this link in the YouTube for everybody to go and read up on who is the CPC members.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go
Okay,
and
that's
say good
fine.
night.
That's fine because I'm ending this now. I'm
Okay.
just going to take a quick look at the conversation, but I'll
Okay,
probably
good night, Brandy.
find.
Good
Not
night.
Brandy.
So good night, Brandy. Sleep well.
I will.
But yeah, Catherine Clark is a CPC member.
Oh yeah, Catherine Clark is a CPC member. Hakeem Jeffries is a CPC member
Yeah.
too, and there are many other relatively conservative CPC members. Yep, something here in the private chat. Genco Strategies, yes. Genco Strategies, yes. Okay, thank you for looking that up, Greg. Okay, let's get to the comments. Uh, okay, Robert.
John Yarmouth. That's the one that went on, I think, some television interview. I don't remember which one, and told I think it was C-SPAN. He's on the CPC and mentioned Stephanie Kelton's book, The Deficit Myth.
Yes. Who was that?
John Yarmouth.
Oh yeah, John Yarmouth is the. He's retired now. He's gone. But he was the guy. He gave a. First of all, he was the chair of the Budget Committee in the House. So the opposite number to Bernie Sanders. Okay, who was the Senate chair. But also, John Yarmouth gave a very well known interview. What was the organization? It's a very well known company that interviews people. I think it's for The Hill, actually. Okay, but Yarmouth got on their program and he started spouting MMT. It was wonderful. It was just wonderful. He had no fear at all. He talked about MMT in a very, very common sense way. Have to find the link to that interview. Okay, again. Okay, and show you that interview because that's what Bernie Sanders should have been doing since 2015. He should have been talking like John Yarmouth was talking in this interview. Okay, the interview appeared in, I think it appeared in 2022, early in the year, because it was I think it was before John announced that this was going to be his last year. But MMT people were going crazy because He did so well, okay, in the interview. And he did it all without any fear. Steve Wolfburn says, has very early morning, can't stay too long. He says, hit the like button. Thank you, Steve. Robert Copeland says, Jimmy Dore was one of the people that was pushing to force the vote. I know. And I have to say, I think it was because once Jimmy gets an idea into his head, he's very strong in pushing the idea forward. He does not do much in terms of consideration of alternatives to that idea. And he's got so many followers that he brings such weight to the conversation that you can't even propose things that are variants to that idea. I mean, basically, debate on the idea is shut off. And I'm sorry, Jimmy Dore is very good, but he's not that good that he doesn't need debate and discussion on his idea before he pushes it out and starts an effing movement about it. Robert Copeland says, I know California Alliance for Retired Americans is planning to do a rally at Kevin McCarthy office in California sometime in March, provided Kevin McCarthy becomes the Speaker of the House. Well, that's not surprising. What's he going to say to the California Alliance for Retired Americans after he has cut Social Security, I wonder? I wonder how that's going to go over. Steve says that Ilhan Omar is good people. I think she's good people too. Robert says, Joe, can you share the screen? Well, I did that, but thank you for reminding us, Robert. Steve says, are we talking about the same people? What we're talking about, okay, was in Ilhan Omar and, her record. I don't think we were that critical of her, and certainly, compared to most Congress people, I'd put her in the top 10. So what we're trying to do here is see, by careful examination of all these Congress people, we're trying to see if there's even one in the Congressional Progressive Caucus who doesn't take the big money. It's a very important question. Is there even one? Because they make claims that they're small dollar people, that they don't take any of the big money. Robert Copeland says, I've seen more PAC money going to a city council race in Sacramento. Revolution Evolution, Gregory says, it's Gregory here, everyone, from the new YouTube channel. Lots of money goes to political consultants. Yeah. Entirely too much money, Robert, says Greg. Ghost Star asks, was Denise George's firing the last hope to follow the Jeffrey Epstein money trail? I'm sorry, Ghost Star, I just don't keep track of that. It's not, to me, the Jeffrey Epstein money trail is a distraction. It's a distraction from the main problem, which is the money buying the politicians and stopping that money from flowing to the politicians. I don't think I've given 1 minute of airtime in the last 2 years to Jeffrey Epstein. I simply do not care. Yeah, sure. It certainly illustrates the corruption of the politicians. but it's not the kind of corruption of the politicians that's related to how they vote. I don't think. It's not like the contributions. It's about the sex scandals surrounding Matt Gaetz. The sex scandal doesn't have much to do with how he votes. Greg says, hi, Kay, how are you? Kay says, I'm okay. You? And Greg says, I'm doing good. And Steve Ghostart says, McCarthy just failed the sixth vote, and all MSM TV networks covered it live. Imagine the huge push Medicare for All would have gotten from nonstop talk in the media about it in the middle of a pandemic. Force the vote.
Yeah, there should have been nonstop pushing Medicare for All during the height of the pandemic when things were at its worst.
Sure, there should have been. Certainly should have been. How did AOC spend their money? Well, we've gone through that, of course. There's Brandy making comments. Robert says, there is an app you can download, gets information from the register of voters that has people information. Brandy says, Robert, that was the NGA van. Ghost Star asks, is AOC cozying up with Matt Gaetz to make Elon Musk jealous? Josh Harder represents Stockton, California, which is just south of Sacramento. I know Josh Harder is a little bit lefty. I don't think he's lefty enough that he should have gotten any of that AOC money. Ghost that says they don't need our donations or votes. It just manufactures consent. Brandy says, I agree, Ghost Start. Congrats on 230 subscribers, Doc. Sherry White says, hi, Joe. Hi, Sherry. Hey, Sherry, if you want to come on here anytime because you're interested in this subject, then we will make you a part of this group so you have access to the live streams, okay, at all times. I've been wanting to do streams with you since I left, but I no longer do the MMT streams because I'm focusing entirely on the dump the corruption stuff. But if you're interested in that and you want to be part of the panel, I would be delighted if you told me, and then I could make you a part of the group. Is there a video called MMT for Dummies? Okay, I'm not aware of one, but there's a group on the Clubhouse platform that's known as MMT for Dummies, and they do videos there. It's not on YouTube, okay, it's there. Okay, and the person who does that is, what does he call himself again? I don't know, but he's in my DM. I just met him, and he was on the panel with us, okay, on New Year's. So he's not far down in my DM list. And I will give you, oh yeah, he goes by Trill Progressive. Okay, let me see if I can get this link to you. If I can get this link to you easily. Okay, we follow each other. He says, I run MMT for Dummies on Clubhouse. Okay, he's a good guy. I will give you the link right now in the comments. Sherry Wise says hello. And Revolution Evolution says, yes, Robert, there's also a book on it as well.
That was me.
And okay, Sherry says, I agree, Joe. He never really got MMT. He didn't seem to understand Stephanie when she was on her show. They didn't really connect. Sherry, what is that in response to? Okay, that's an answer, I guess, to something I said, but I'm not sure how it connects. Kay Ryan says, yes, I agree. Sherry says, I'll be out of town quite a bit this month, but let's do something early February. Okay, well, Sherry, the way this works is, okay, there's this Facebook group that we have. Okay, I will add you to the Facebook group, and the links are there each day to my shows and to Greg's shows and to Brandy, okay, and Dee shows. And we sort of have set up a panel. If you want to join the panel, that will be fine. Right now, the panel members are Dee and Brandy and Greg and myself, okay, and Madeline Hoffman are the main panel members right now. If you would like to become a panel member, okay, then I'll just add you to the group, and whenever you have time.
Or if you want to, Sherry, you can send me a friend request on Facebook, and I can get you added to the Facebook groups as well.
Right.
Either one of us can help get you in the right direction.
Right. So if you're interested in that, I can certainly do it. Oh, you were talking about Jimmy Dore. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Dore. Yeah. Well, my beef with Jimmy Dore was not about MMT so much. Okay. It was about his singular emphasis that force the vote should be about getting a floor vote for Medicare for all. And his influence was so heavy that he overshadowed any other suggestions. And my argument was that he was asking for too little. He should have been doing what the Republicans are doing now. He should have been asking for all kinds of concessions, okay, from Nancy Pelosi, including a floor vote, okay, for Medicare for all, but floor votes for 5 other things too, rules changes, and committee assignments. He should have been asking for all 3. And but first of all, he shouldn't even been asking those things of Nancy Pelosi. He should have been asking the squad to depose Nancy Pelosi. No deals, because they couldn't trust her. They just had to keep voting against her so she wouldn't have the votes to have become the speaker in 2021. It might have taken 10 votes, it might have taken 15 votes or 20 votes, but eventually she would have stepped down and other candidates would have emerged. And that would have been the time for the squad, okay, to negotiate with them. But Jimmy didn't have any conception of that process because he really doesn't know the Congress very well. So That was my problem with him. I've had a gripe about that since 2021. So anyway, so Lana wanted me to mention it on this show. So I decided I would please Lana and mention it on this show. So Sherry says she'll be out of town for a month, a bit this month. Let's do something early February. Robert says, I think Lisa should be on the panel when she comes back. Yes, she will be. Yeah, she will be on the panel when she comes back. I hope she will come back very soon. I have been in close touch with her. Sherry says, I will have to get back on Facebook, but give me a week, okay, or so. Okay. Are you on Twitter now, Sherry? Because if you're on Twitter now, which I think you are.
And guess what? You just got you a new Twitter follower, by the way.
Oh, so Sherry is on Twitter?
Nah, I'm back on Twitter.
Oh, you're back on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just followed me on Twitter.
Yeah, from a totally brand new account, which I'm going to have everything linked over with that here soon. I'm going to have like a whole cover photo, banner, everything to use.
Great.
For Revolution Evolution, which is me.
Oh, Sherry isn't on Twitter either. Oh, I remember when she withdrew from Twitter because she and I and Amber were in the middle of a fight with Steve's bunch. Steve Grumble.
Oh, God.
Okay, and Sherry finally simply got tired of it and decided to leave Twitter. So since then, she's had a very nice time doing interviews for KRTD Media, where people listen to what she says. Okay, so Madeline is on the panel, as I said. And I mean, she must be on 4 or 5 streams a week with us. She just was not available tonight. And Ghost Start says, trending vaccine death 14.4K. Tweet sources claim Damar Hamlin is dead and is being kept on life support, so he's not considered officially dead. Oh, wow.
You love us too much, Sherry. You can't walk away from us.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay, guys, I think that's about the end. I have to
Don't
say,
forget, join the official Dumping the Corruption Facebook group, everyone.
yes, including me.
Yes, including you.
Including me. Yes, I'm the chief offender.
I
I promise tonight I will join the Facebook group. I will accept your invitation.
Sweet. Then I'll make you a administrator.
That will be fine. I don't mind being an administrator at all.
Well, I'm the creator of the group, and Dee and Brandy are, of course, administrators of the group. I'd like to also get Madeline as an administrator as well, and anybody else who is on our panels,
Okay.
like the main people. Maybe get Lisa on board as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting Lisa to return
Oh, good night, Sherry.
very soon. Good night, Sherry. Great to see you here. And folks,
Oh, good
shall we
night,
say
Kay.
good night to everyone.
Yes, good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We will be back tomorrow.
Later, taters.
Yeah.
Good night.
Right.